Hello everybody, welcome to Review a Day, episode number 61 for Sunday, October the 12th, 2008. Hello everybody, welcome to Review a Day, the daily video blog where I review a movie 7 days a week. My name is Leland Brunger and thank you very much for joining me. And it's Sunday, so I'm going to be reviewing a horror film, and the film I'm going to be reviewing today is 30 Days of Night. This film was directed by David Slade, who kind of burst onto the scene with Hard Candy with Patrick Wilson and Ellen Page. This movie stars Josh Hartnett, Melissa George, Danny Huston, and has a small role by Ben Foster. 30 Days of Night is based on a graphic novel of the same name, where it takes place in the northernmost town in the United States, up in Alaska, where for a time during the winter, they don't have sunlight for 30 days. A bunch of vampires roll into town at the beginning of the 30 days and basically begin wreaking havoc because there's no sunlight. And that kind of sets up this story. This movie has an incredibly great concept that I love. The idea of vampires coming to this town for 30 days and basically taking it over is completely interesting. I'm also a sucker for vampires. One of my all-time favorite television series is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think you can tell, I think it's really easy to tell incredibly interesting stories using vampires. This movie has a lot of potential, but it becomes such a standard horror film that it's really hard for me to recommend it. What this film does do really well is I think it captures the artwork of the graphic novel really well. Ben Templesmith did the artwork. It's really moody, and I think they really nailed the look of the vampires in this movie. Well, first off, there's this really fantastic sequence early on in the film when the vampires first roll into town and start wreaking havoc, where it looks like it's from like a helicopter or something like that. You're looking down, and you just see all this chaos going on, people blowing away vampires with shotguns, people getting tortured. It's really scary, really disturbing. And it's so well done, and it really reminded me of the David Slade that I kind of got to know watching Hard Candy, that really great style that he had. But what this film does really well is that it captured the vampires from the book really well. Just like when they open their mouth, it's like a shark or something like that. They have all these pointy teeth, really creepy. They're all dressed pretty cool. I liked that about it. Danny Huston does a fantastic job. He's playing the leader of the vampires, and he's wearing like a trench coat or something like that. He looks awesome. He just looks badass, and he speaks in kind of this vampire tongue. I don't know what the languages they're speaking. Ben Foster plays a very small role in this film. He's the first vampire that you're kind of introduced to, and he is so creepy and so fantastic in this film that it's sad because he gets killed very early on in the film. It's not really a spoiler because he's not an important character. But I think Ben Foster is really one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. I know he's gotten some bigger roles as of lately. He had a really fantastic performance in The 3:10 to Yuma. He's amazing in that movie, but he's really great, and I was really sad to see him get killed so early on in this film because he and Danny Huston I would have loved to see share the screen more in this movie. I think that would have brought a lot of energy to the movie. Since there's no daylight in this film, it's really hard to gauge the passage of time. I realize, you know, how much you get from night to day in films, like you can sense time passing or something like that. From time to time in this film, you get kind of little updates. It'll say like day 12 or something like that, but it really doesn't feel like any days later. Had they taken those out, I just would have assumed that this movie took place over one night or like 12 hours or something like that. Josh Hartnett gets scruffier through the film, but it really plays out exactly like it would. It doesn't add anything. I think that was kind of the big concept of that movie, is that they had to survive 30 days, but it feels like it's just a couple hours. This film also really borrows heavily from Dawn of the Dead. It's a bunch of people like grouped together and they're hiding out and trying to survive this kind of mass chaos. Unfortunately, this concept has been done so many times and a lot better in a lot of other films. It just doesn't work here. This movie feels just so standard and like horror by numbers. It really isn't all that scary either, and it really isn't fun enough for it to just be like a wild ride or anything like that. There's some cool kills in the movie that I think are well done. There's some good gore. Overall, it's just such a standard horror film, and I really have a hard time recommending it. A lot of wasted potential. You know, Ben Foster and Danny Huston are great. I give this movie a 2 out of 5. Check it out for Ben Foster and Danny Huston, who are fantastic as two really creepy vampires. Other than that, I think this movie is one you can probably skip. If you're a hardcore vampire fan, maybe, but you know, I can't recommend it. If you guys are liking my reviews, make sure and subscribe. If you have any recommendations on any films you'd like to see me review, leave them in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.